This is Neural Newscast.
Here is what matters this Monday, June 29th, 2026.
From Neural Newscast, I'm Noah Feldman.
And I'm Isabel Moreno.
Iran's Revolutionary Guard has confirmed missile and drone attacks on United States military bases in Bahrain and Kuwait on Sunday. The strikes targeted the Ali Al Salem airbase and the 5th Naval Fleet at Port Salman in direct response to American strikes on Iranian coastal positions.
These actions follow United States Central Command's weekend strikes on 10 Iranian military targets near the Strait of Hormuz. Washington says those operations were a necessary retaliation after an Iranian drone struck a Panamanian-flagged oil tanker on Saturday.
The violence has severely compromised the ceasefire memorandum signed on June 17th. Despite the escalation, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi insisted Sunday that Tehran will continue to oversee and manage the strait for the next 30 days.
President Trump has accused Tehran of violating the ceasefire and suggested the United States might be forced to complete the mission militarily. Bahrain and Kuwait have both condemned the attacks as flagrant violations of their sovereignty.
Turning now to South America, search and rescue teams in Venezuela are working through critical hours to locate survivors of Wednesday's massive earthquakes. The death toll has officially risen to at least 1,450 people, with over 3,000 others reported injured.
National Assembly President Jorge Rodriguez warns that time is running out for the nearly 69,000 people currently reported unaccounted for. The 7.5 magnitude tremor was the strongest to hit the nation in a century, flattening entire residential blocks in the north.
Reports from the port city of La Guaira, Isabel, suggest the destruction is nearly total in some districts. While power has been restored to some areas, the government says a severe shortage of heavy machinery is hindering efforts to clear the rubble.
The government is now heavily reliant on international aid as state resources reach their limit. Experts indicate the window for finding survivors is closing, and the mission is increasingly shifting toward recovery efforts.
In other news, Ukrainian drones have set fire to another major Russian oil refinery in the Krasnodar region. Debris from the strike in Slavyansk na Kubani ignited the facility, which typically processes close to 4 million tons of crude oil per year.
President Vladimir Putin acknowledged Sunday that Russia is facing a fuel deficit. The admission follows months of long-range Ukrainian attacks designed to squeeze the Kremlin's revenue and disrupt the logistics of the invasion.
President Zelensky described the strikes as long-range sanctions that are successfully reducing the resources fueling the Russian military. The campaign has already led to widespread fuel rationing and long lines at gas stations throughout several Russian provinces.
Putin has vowed to strengthen the protection of oil facilities while rejecting a proposal to limit fighting to the 4 annexed regions. He claims these strikes have no effect on the front lines, though analysts suggest they are pressuring the Kremlin toward negotiations.
Next, Serbia is preparing for a major leadership transition. President Alexander Vučić announced yesterday that he will resign within weeks, though he did not provide a specific date or a reason for the sudden move.
His departure comes as the Balkan nation navigates complex relations with the European Union. Analysts are watching closely to see how this transition will impact Serbia's stability and its long-standing foreign policy objectives.
In Kenya, a critical debate is underway within the national education system. The country is weighing a shift toward mother tongue instruction in primary schools to improve literacy and preserve cultural heritage alongside English proficiency.
Supporters say the move will help children grasp complex concepts more effectively in their formative years. However, critics worry that moving away from English as the primary medium of instruction could impact Kenya's competitiveness in the global labor market.
In sports, South Africa's national team is gearing up for a high-stakes World Cup showdown against Canada. Coach Hugo Bruce has expressed confidence in his squad despite the intense pressure of the upcoming match.
The match is a focal point for fans in both nations as they look to advance. For South Africa, the game represents a chance to cement their status as a rising power in international football.
Here is what else we're watching. The European Union is moving to prolong protection for Ukrainian refugees, but officials are debating whether new arrivals eligible for military service should receive the same benefits.
The policy shift reflects pressure on EU member states to balance humanitarian support with the needs of the Ukrainian defense. A final decision on the status of these individuals is expected by the end of the week.
In Washington, House Republicans are attempting to reorganize their legislative agenda after a week of internal discourse. Party leadership is aiming to prioritize domestic spending bills before the upcoming legislative recess begins.
Finally, Pakistan continues to act as a primary mediator between the United States and Iran. Observers are looking to Tuesday for a possible resumption of technical talks, despite the recent missile exchanges in the Gulf.
Negotiators in Islamabad remain hopeful that a diplomatic channel can be preserved to prevent the total collapse of the recent memorandum. However, the success of these talks depends on both sides adhering to the terms of the fragile ceasefire.
This has been Neural Newscast. Thanks for listening.
I'm Noah Feldman.
And I'm Isabel Moreno.
Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.